Terra Luna Classic's greatest strength is our community. But how can we grow an even bigger and stronger community for Terra Luna Classic? Well, we need to have more people be able to buy Terra Luna Classic, which means we need to have LUNC listed on more exchanges. Let me know in the comments down below, where do you buy your LUNC? Right here, we have a list of the different places where you can actually buy Terra Luna Classic. You can see Binance, obviously, that's a big one we know about. KuCoin's another one, Bit4x, and we have a lot of different exchanges here. But you'll notice if you look closely, there's kind of an issue. A lot of these different exchanges don't actually allow US citizens, and as far as I know, really the only ones that you could potentially buy Terra Luna Classic for US citizen is Crypto.com and potentially Kraken. Now, I definitely do not recommend this. You should not do this, but what a lot of people end up doing is they'll go to places like Binance and they just won't do the KYC process. And in a lot of cases on these different exchanges, you have a limited amount of cryptocurrency that you actually buy and sell every day unless you KYC. And it's pretty limited, but for the average retail investor who's maybe buying $100, $200 of Terra Luna Classic at a time, they're able to get away with doing this without having a KYC. Now, again, you should not do this because they have restrictions on which regions you can actually access their different exchanges from. Now, while this does work for the retail and it's not really something you should do, when you talk about institutional investors, people who are going to buy, let's even just say $1 million plus of Terra Luna Classic at one time, those people can't go through these different routes. They have to go through a KYC process due to the volume of cryptocurrency that they're buying. And so when you're looking at institutions and they want to buy into Terra Luna Classic, what are their options? Well, really, in a lot of different locations that have these restrictions on trading, they don't have great options. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please consider smashing the like button and also turn on the notification bell so you don't miss another video like this. This is where we need to talk about the different opportunities to get Terra Luna Classic actually listed on different exchanges, but there's one particular exchange we're going to get to in a second that I think we actually have a possibility of getting. So you're probably familiar if you've been on Twitter with this movement to try and get Coinbase to list Terra Luna Classic. You can see a lot of different people, Matthew Perry, Classy Crypto, a lot of these different influencers have been pushing for this idea of let's try and get Terra Luna Classic actually listed on Coinbase. That way these different institutions and US investors can really have easy access to get Terra Luna Classic. However, despite the best efforts, with some of these posts getting, as you can see with Classy's post, over 1,000 likes in some instances, we're not making any progress with Coinbase right now. However, I think our best chances are actually with Binance US, and I'm going to explain why and what we're doing wrong currently that we could potentially improve our odds in the future. You're probably familiar with the fact that Binance supports Terra Luna Classic via the Binance Terra Luna Classic burns that they have been doing and that they're going to hopefully continue to do very soon. I think we have really good odds of, at the very least, getting Binance US to respond to our movement and at least justify why they don't want to list Terra Luna Classic. That way we can know what we need to do to change Terra Luna Classic to make this a possibility. But one thing I've noticed that we've been doing wrong is people keep going back to CZ Binance because they think, well, it's Binance. We need to let CZ know that we want Binance.us to list Terra Luna Classic. However, if we actually look, there's this other individual, Brian Schroeder. He's the president and CEO of Binance US. This is a different person. This is not CZ Binance. And what's also interesting is you can see it's not like he has a lot of followers. So a lot of people I feel like don't know about him as the president and CEO of Binance US. And so I feel like if we want to get Binance US to respond, we want to get Binance US to potentially list Terra Luna Classic, we need to make sure that we're tagging Brian Schroeder and letting him know instead of CZ Binance, because CZ Binance runs the main Binance, not Binance US. And so this is where I think we actually have an opportunity to make some headway here with potentially getting Terra Luna Classic added to Binance US, as we have an individual who doesn't get spammed with a ton of different pings, who's actually responsible for this platform, and we could potentially actually reach them. We can actually make Terra Luna Classic more accessible to different types of investors, specifically the bigger investors in these areas that have regulation. We open up so many possibilities for our ecosystem. We can get a lot more utilities into our platform because they're going to go, wait a second, there's these big investors in here. We want to have our NFT on this platform. We want to have our exchange on this platform. And that could bring so much value to Terra Luna Classic. It could increase our burns. It could bring so much more trading volume. It would just be overall extremely positive for our ecosystem. And it can help us push towards the dream of Terra Luna Classic hitting $1. However, we simply cannot hit $1 before we hit 1 cent. And if you want to learn what we actually need to do to have Terra Luna Classic hit 1 cent, check out this video up here and I will catch you all in the next one.